And
Good evening, Jagrati.
yeah, so myself Jagruti, and I'm from Opportune Technology. And I actually welcome to today's webinar. And as you all are aware that we are Opportune Technology and we provide the cloud-based and end-to-end HR solution, which is used over 300 plus clients and 3 lakhs plus users across India. And today, Opportune in association with GOP has organized this webinar for our esteemed clients, wherein GOP is the OKR, like OKR software that allows you to align strategy with execution and achieve faster growth for your business and the people. Hence, OKR software helps with the business performance management and the company growth. And today, our speaker is going to explain you about all the essential requirements of you as a HR to take care of your employees' performance. And for that, we have with us Mr. Ravi Verma. He is a seasoned strategy and performance management professional with over 2 decades of experience driving digital transformation initiative. And as a VP of growth at Joy of Performing, he's leveraged his expertise in business analysis, data modeling, and project management to optimize processes, enhance performance, and deliver measurable results. Yes, Mr. Ravi, so over to you.
Thank you, Jagrati. Thank you. Thank you, participants, for joining. And I hope so people are still joining.
Yeah.
Right, attendees are still joining. Thank you for inviting us. And yes, let me tell to my my audience that Joy Performing is really very excited to join hands with Opportune. And we look that this combination of HRMS with an OKR solution company, it would really be a great combination, and it can help CHROs, HR heads, leaders, and organizations a lot more. And today we are here to actually just give you a glimpse of that, how it is going to help you. Okay, how Opportune, how the HRs who are using Opportune job can help them in their life, right? Yeah. So before going further, okay, let me share my screen, and this will be a very interactive session, and I request everyone, right, to share their comments or keep posting their questions in the question Q&A box. We'll be happy, and I'll be happy to answer them and take it up. Okay. Now, as an HR professional, okay, what is a single point agenda of us? Single point agenda is to maximize employee performance. HR works so hard to retain good talent. But then the point is, story does not end there. And I'm sure a lot of, or almost every one of you will definitely agree with me that the story does not end there. Okay, story starts from there, right? How different people can and HR heads can maximize and see that how the employees can be retained, right? How they can help existing employees to do better if they are struggling, or even if the company's goals are not aligned to their employees, how to align that goal. But the whole point is work with the employees. And why to work with the employees? To maximize the employee performance. And today, we are going to shed some light at how OKRs can help CHROs, HR heads to maximize the employee performance. Now, moving ahead, what are OKRs? How OKRs can help you? Okay. OKRs are nothing but objective and key results. And please don't be alarmed with this new word or the new terminology. We are already using KRE KPIs. Everyone, right, would be aware of KRE KPIs. Okay. There is a balanced scorecard framework. There's an OKR framework. So there are a lot of frameworks which are prevalent in the industry. And the most common of it is the KRA KPI in the service industry or in all the industries. But again, if you check the industries, balanced scorecard is very popular at a strategy level. Similar is a framework of OKRs that is very popular in the tech world and definitely in the Silicon Valley when it was started, when it was popularized by Google, right? And you must be aware about certain different frameworks that into existence, like SMART goals. So please don't be alarmed with the OKR. It's just a framework, but it is in line with KRA KPIs. It is in line with balanced scorecard. And why I'm saying in line, all these frameworks help you to have that focus and maximize the performance. Okay. So just as a terminology, let us understand what objective and key results are. Objective means what you want to achieve. And key results are how you want to achieve, and they are the measurable outcomes. Now, I'm sure that you must be able to relate it with your KPIs, because KPIs are also measurable outcomes. Similarly, the key results are the measurable outcomes. The only difference is when we talk about KR, we are talking very broad, and we are not just concentrating on the lagging indicators or the targets or the results. We are also bringing in those leading indicators or those qualitative aspects also. How we are going to achieve, what will lead us to that result. Those kind of results, key results also, the measurable key results, we are bringing in the picture. So that is what OKRs are. Now, let us understand, before deep diving, why OKRs are a game changer, why OKRs are working, why the giants, why these Silicon Valley people are so fascinated, fixated with the OKRs. Transparency. One of the major problems within the organizations of any industry of any size is the transparency. Are we transparent enough to share our company goals to everyone? Are people so transparent to share their progress? We are very we work in the closed doors. We tend to say that, yes, we are transparent, but usually we are not. Do we have the clarity of the goals? And let me share one very interesting episode. I met these founders. There were three founders. It happened 2 years back. And when I met them, they were so confident about their strategy. They were so confident about the clarity that all the three founders have, that how to maximize the profits, how they plan to take the company to the next level. I just quickly pulled up 3 papers and gave it to them. That can you write down 3 pointers, each one of you, right? That how do you plan to move ahead? Because you are thinking in the same direction, you are thinking alike. That, yeah, why not, Ravi? And trust me, they were thinking alike, right? Similar, but not same, not identical. There were differences, and those differences were because of who they are, from which background they came from. So if that degree of change is there, trust me, you can deviate a lot, because then you have a team under you, and under you there is some manager, maybe under the manager there's a team. So if that degree of understanding is a small over there, it becomes a larger when you go down. So people do not have clarity. Definitely alignment and dependencies. Every company fights, every department fights with each other because some or other way my work is dependent on you, or your work is dependent on any third person. And that third person work is again dependent on me. Now, how do we bring on that dependencies on the table itself? So that's the alignment that OKRs give you. Now, this focus on what matters, and I'm sure Jagriti and all my fellow attendees, uh, we must be seeing these on a daily basis that we have to do everything that comes on our plate. Everything is important. I have heard a lot of founders, a lot of senior members saying that, no, Ravi, everything is important. We cannot miss anything. Now, can you imagine if everything is important, how can I just have a focus also? So we must understand that what actually matters. And this starts at a very high level, right from top to down, because that's a cultural change. To start differentiating on what and start looking on what matters. How can the company move? How can my team move? How can I perform better? Where I should focus, where I should not focus. Feedback, I at least love when I get a feedback. Okay, and I'm sure Jagriti, you must also be feeling good when you get a feedback. Usually in our culture, feedback is mostly informal. That maybe we get a pat on our shoulders, or maybe we get a very good job, Jagriti, while you are crossing the alley or something, right? Like that. But we do not give it in written. We do not make it a habit or a celebration. If someone is doing great, I think so the feedback should be given. And similarly, critical feedback is also important to improve on. So both ways they are important. But we should give feedback, we should encourage people, we should give the critical feedback also on the same side. It's very, very important. And finally, execution. All these things, what actually matters is the operational excellence we strive for. And I think so every HR will agree on all these pointers with me that these are the real problem to solve. For some, they may sound very subjective, but trust me, they are very objective. They may look like the very subjective one because maybe we do not know how to solve them, or maybe we have a lot of like big list of tasks to solve these, but that doesn't make them subjective. That these pointers are very, very objective and attainable. We can attain them. Because if we attain them, we attain that operational excellence. We maximize the performance of each of our employees in the teams. That's why OKRs are real game changer. And we feel, and I feel personally that OKRs are not just to be adopted within the organization itself. It is something that we can adopt on a personal level. For 1 second, Jagriti, just think about, okay, can do these things matter in the personal life also or not? Are we
Definitely this
clear
matters.
enough what we want to achieve?
Definitely.
Are we totally aligned? Are we having that focus or not? Do we have stepwise thought that yes, maybe just like if you want to read a book. I once met a very senior member who is also a coach, a people's coach, and at that point of time, I was very shy from reading the books and all, right? So he told me that, Ravi, if you really want to read, I said, yes, I want to read, but it's very boring, right? I do get bored very easily. He said, what kind of books do you read or pick from the bookshelf? And he said, I mean the size of the book. I said, yeah, this big. He said, do not pick those kind of books to start with. Just pick a small book, maybe of 20 pages, 50 pages, and just make an habit. In 24 hours, you have to just complete first 4 to 5 pages. That's it. Every day, 4 to 5 pages, not more than that. If it is hard to cover 4 to 5 pages, just do 3 pages. And then he asked me, then Ravi, tell me, in how many days you will complete that 50-page book? I was like, what? And trust me, like now this is really how we should think in our daily life also. And this is what OKRs are. If we are very focused, if we have decided, yes, we have to achieve this, then we should have that clarity, we should have alignment within ourselves and with others, right? And focus and do that thing. Now, let us get into a little history because this might excite you, okay? Because before understanding and deep diving into OKRs or any subject, everyone should understand the history. I'm sure a lot of you would be MBAs and must have heard about Peter Drucker and who invented the MBOs, Management by Objectives, in 1950s. And Dr. N.D. Grove, who was the CEO of Intel at that point of time, he came forward with the OKRs based on the MBOs. He picked those objectives and he said that having an objective is not just important. Objectives should be inspirational, what we want to achieve. But there should be the measurable key results also along with that. And there's a very famous case study in his book, in the John Doerr's book, titled Measure What Matters, uh, how Intel defeated Motorola. And once they were challenged by Motorola because Motorola came up a very advanced chip that Intel could have in that time point of time, and their whole business was threatened. So how the Dr. N.D. Grove and John Doerr at that point of time was working under Dr. N.D. Grove. So he saw it happening and he saw the magic of OKRs. Yes, how everyone can move in one direction with utmost clarity, how we can solve that delta or the problems that we find on a daily basis, how we can contribute together. We talk about collaboration a lot, but actually how we can contribute and collaborate also. And then he was all about he made a point that he will promote OKRs, okay, and he was early investor at Google, so he introduced Sergey Brothers in 1999 to Google, and the rest is a history. In 2013, Google launched a video of how Google set goals, OKRs. Until today, Google uses OKRs. And now, at present, there are a lot many clients worldwide who are using OKRs in US, in India. In India, we have a lot of clients who are using OKRs, including MP Birla Group, including now Opportune is also there, right? You are also using OKRs, and there are a lot of startups. There's different kind of industries. So OKRs are not just for one industry. It's a framework that multiple industries can utilize. So that's a bit of history and a very interesting history. Just sharing that the structure of objective and key results, right? What an OKRs are. Objective is again what we want to achieve. This is inspirational. It can be anything, right? It can be I want to reduce weight. The very interesting point is how do you want to reduce weight? Those hows will become your key results. Please, if anyone, right, any HR person wants to have a detailed understanding on what are OKRs, you can contact us, connect us, fill the form that our team is sharing with you, right? We'll be happy to answer you. I'm not here right now today to detail what OKRs are, just giving you a glimpse of what OKRs are so that you can connect it and you can think that, okay, how it is connecting well to your, to the current KRA KPI world. Right? It is more realistic. Now, using OKRs, what we try to do, okay, this is very interesting. Okay, and this is very practical also, let me tell you, right? Today, fortunately, unfortunately, right, because the current system, everyone thinks about their own appraisal. Ravi, and there's no problem in that. There's nothing wrong in that. Okay. I only can think about my own task to complete my own tasks. I only am fixated on the result because what actually matters currently is the result only. We do not focus on actually the outcomes. And the results are, for example, if there are sales numbers, so we are only talked about the sales numbers. The how part is missing. The person, the people behind it is missing. So it is very important to actually think about the outcomes, because what will lead you to those results is very important. And if we can measure them, and if you can see that where you are lagging in achieving your leading indicators, trust me, you will not be able to achieve your result also. So we advocate to move and become from me to we, from actually thinking about just the task or the result, actually be outcome centered. Okay. Manager or team member to squads or pods. Now here what we call is more cross-functional or the contributions. So do not shy away just to belong to one team. Include other teams also. Include other team members who can help you. Right? Solve it together. Move from mid-year or annual appraisal or review cycle to weekly cadence. Be very agile. Just see what is required today, week by week. Fortnightly also you can do. But just solve it today if there is a problem. Do not wait for that yes, your review will be happening or you will be taking that mid-year review or annual review. No. Have that weekly cadence. A lot of you, a good example, again, I'll come to sales. Sales has monthly reviews. Now, you can wonder why do we require weekly cadence also? But we should have those weekly cadence so that if we are achieving that numbers of those monthly numbers, maybe maybe a salesperson requires the help of managers. From where do we know that? We can only know that through those weekly cadence. And it is not just, again, I'm repeating, it is not just those numbers which matter. What matters is, what are those leading indicators? Comes focus. We do not have to catch it all. We do not have to do everything. As a managers, we must understand. As a leaders, we must understand. Let us cherry pick few of them. Few strategic problems, solve it, take up new, solve it, take up new. There is no real-time data with HRs. The data only comes once that is submitted in the ERP, once that is reviewed by the managers, then only you get that data. I think so. We should have that real-time data, real-time insights, how people are doing. With a lot of difficulties, you have identified a good resource and you have hired the good resource. Maybe that resource is not able to adopt in the organization. There may be some problems. How will you come to know? You will only come to know through the qualitative and the quantitative measurements only. Not just with the quantitative measurements. Ravi is not able to achieve his sales figures. But why Ravi is not able to achieve the sales figures? Those qualitative aspects should also be there while creating those goals or OKRs. Let us become champions from the managers. When I say champions, that again relates to the above point. Let us not just talk about numbers. Let us look beyond it. Let us help our team members concentrate and understand what outcome-centric means so that they can enable themselves. Now, last point is very important. A lot of data is hidden behind the hierarchy in the organizations. Managers, HR managers, CHROs will agree with me that a lot of times, suppose for example, Jagriti, you are an HR head and you have a HR manager, you have a talent manager, right, reporting to you. Now, then there is a team with them. it is not necessary that you speak directly to the team, right, on a daily basis or maybe on a weekly basis also. You're directly interacting to your direct reporting.
Yeah.
Now, what is happening on the ground with the team, you only get to understand from your reporting. But what if we are transparent? Maybe your directly reporting is missing something. You can catch it up. So that is the power of transparency. We can be very transparent. It's not about just doing the job. It's about making it successful. If we understand that, if we understand the difference between that result and the outcome, I think so the job of HR will be far more impactful. And we are here, OKRs are here to help you out. And you will understand when you take up those OKR courses, right? We are here to help again. You will understand how you can change that. And it's very, very powerful. Jagriti, anything you want to say, because I'm speaking just right. So if you want to ask anything, please ask.
Sure, sure. We have a question into our chat box. So can I read it out? If
Please,
you can
please,
answer,
please.
yeah.
Yeah.
So someone has questioned that, can you explain why Agile is associated with weekly cadence?
Why HR is okay, very nice. Okay. So see, now the point is why. So who is in? How do you see HR? Right? I see HR as a great enabler because business is driven by the business people with the different functional heads or the department heads. HR, CHROs, HR heads, HR managers, they are driving their own vertical. Okay. But HR as a totality is an enabler. So there's a difference between the driving and a difference between an enabler. So if HR understands and has that kind of a view, okay, how many check-ins is companies, our company doing or meeting those? Now, what is the role of CHRO? Because CHRO, when the HR head connects with the business and work with the business, they become the CHROs. Now, if CHRO does not have that view of how people are meeting, are they doing check-ins? So just then tell me how they will make impact. If they see that yes, people are not doing enough check-ins, there's a problem there, they can solve it. They don't have to be there with the marketing department to take their check-ins. No, you have to just enable them. You just have to watch out, right? As a totality, just be an enabler. Hope I have answered that question. Yeah, let's move forward, Jagrati.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Now joy of performing, as the name says. Okay. We have a proprietary cafe model. Now, OKRs can be a little tricky for people to understand because it's a new term, okay, it's a new framework. And we got in the market and we started talking to leaders like HR leaders, to the business leaders. We understood that though it is a three-letter word, OKR, but it is a little tough to get associated, right, in just one call. So we then went out and did little research. What exactly is important for any organization of any kind, of any industry, are these four things: clarity, alignment, that means dependencies, feedback, execution. The whole point is that becomes the cafe model. So how we can bring the clarity? Now, as a HR, it is our job to bring that clarity. Why do you do that goal setting? Just change the narrative by a bit. Today, if I ask you why your employees should fill their goal sheet, why, what they think by when they are filling the goal sheet, I'm sure you will tell me, Ravi, they take it very, very informally, right? And sometimes we really have to chase them. Sometimes the senior leaders create their goal sheet after the financial year is over. Tell me 10 kind of answers. Now, from where the clarity will come then? So it is, if HR is able to achieve that clarity and give that clarity to each department, each vertical head and everyone, I think so your half job is done. It is very important to have the clarity. And I'm sure again, you must be facing a lot of people would be coming with that feedback, or you must have heard informally, uh, my boss has told me, so I'm doing it, God knows why I'm doing it. They don't have any clarity where their vertical head is going, what their vertical head is trying to achieve, what their company is actually trying to achieve. So it is very important for the clarity, because if people down below to the last mile have the clarity, they will also find opportunity with that clarity within the organization. Maybe the organization want to open or expand to a new geography. Maybe that geography is China, or maybe that geography is US. Maybe that geography is Pune. Now there is someone who is working and who's from Pune, who is staying in Delhi. Now, if the person knows, right? Yes, company in the third quarter want to open an office in Pune. Now there's an opportunity for the person. So clarity opens a lot of doors. Alignment, dependencies, I don't have to explain that, right? As an HR, we sometimes have to sit and facilitate the fights between different departments. What for? Because they are dependent on each other and they are not able to solve it together. If there's a problem, then there are fingers that we are pointing. Why we should come to that level also? If we can set that framework that everyone is aligned together and everyone knows how my work is dependent on geography or geography's work is dependent on a different department, I think so we all are accountable and answerable there. We know. And with clarity, again, it's a great combination. Feedback, super important. Everyone wants to feel special. I come to office to do a good work. Everyone comes to office to do a good work in the morning. No one comes to the office, oh, I will today bang the table and oh, I'm coming with a bad mood. No, everyone comes with a good motive and a work to do. And if by end of a day we are so we can show some empathy, we can if give some positive feedback, I think so it's a game changer. How we can then, with the help of clarity, alignment, and feedback, focus on those execution. Execution means those tasks that we do. You will immediately see if the team has a clarity, if they are aligned well, if you are giving them feedbacks, okay, how well they are executing their tasks. You will see that. You will see the happiness on their face. We have seen it, the happiness on our client's face. You will see how those managers are able to then reach out to their employees, okay? So that's the cafe model. And that is the proprietary cafe model of joy performing. And that is what we try to establish with our every client. And this is what we wish to work with all the HR leaders over here, right? To establish it in their organization also. And we can do this with the help of OKRs. Please reach out to us if you wish to. We'll love to have a dialogue on how we can achieve that. As a job, I'll say job, as I said, that joy of performing is not just a tool, okay? It's not just a software. It's a both software and a consulting firm. We handled you through implementing the OKR process from end to end, right? We are there with you for 1 year. We are there. If the organization is big enough, we are there for you 2 to 3 years, right? We have a different intervention program with which we can help you set up the whole exercise and sustain it. Now, again, depending on, let me expand on little bit on what are these 4 areas that we, in terms of the product. Now, let us understand, right, how joy of performing, how job tool can help you in bringing that clarity, bringing that alignment, giving that feedback and verification. Jagrati, if there is any question before that to be answered, I can.
Sure. One question is there in a Q&A box, so I can conclude that here. And one more question is there from my end.
Please.
So we can go one by one. Okay.
Sure.
So one question is there, which is who should not use OKR? A lot of companies do not use OKR. What may be the reason?
Right. Yes. So it basically has two questions inbuilt. One is who should not use OKRs, right? That is the one question. And second question is many companies are not using OKRs. What is the reason? Okay, so let me attempt the first one. Who should not use OKRs? So the answer is just opposite. If you are a kind of a company, if you are a kind of a company who really do not want to change the culture of the organization, if the growth does not bother you, right? You are getting enough growth. And if you are not heading a people company today, uh, yeah, okay, you should not utilize OKRs, definitely, right? Second, a lot of companies are not using OKRs. What is the reason? So, as I said earlier, there are so many frameworks in the on the table, right? There are balance scorecards, there are KRA KPIs, there are smart goals. So a lot of people are using different kind of frameworks. Now, in India, right, in US also, if you will see, there are a lot of companies who are using OKRs and there are a lot of companies who are not using OKRs. The point of using OKRs is what kind of a change we are want to bring in. If we are want to, like for example, balance scorecard, that is for strategy creation, not for strategy execution. OKRs are for strategy execution. If you have strategized well, right, there is strategy. From those strategy, your big moves or objectives will flow in at a company level, at a team level, at an individual level, and then the whole execution starts happening. So currently, a lot of companies are using hybrid model of KRA KPIs. That means there is an yearly appraisal, but they also close their reviews on a quarterly level. So there are teams who are using concepts of OKRs, right? And they are using the hybrid model of KRA KPIs also. So they are not on OKRs. Okay. But yes, the point is if you, and the second is definitely the fear of change management sometimes, okay? Because it is a change. We must acknowledge that moving from KRA KPIs is a change management. You'll have to accommodate that change. You'll have to have that trust in the process. And it is just similar if you want to change an ERP. It's a process. It will not be done in what, 1 week, 3 weeks, 1 month, 2 months, 3 months. No, it is going to take some time. Right? And that is the few reasons that people sometimes do not use OKRs, right? But again, I think so. You should focus on why should you use OKRs? Why you should introduce OKRs? Because you must have heard the term agile. That agile word is not limited to software industry itself. No, it is for all of us. It is to be utilized in your daily life. It is utilized how you work. We should be all agile in terms of work, and OKRs are very agile. I hope I answered that. Jagriti, you said that you have a question for me.
Yeah. One question is there. How can OKRs be tailored to fit the unique need of different departments, such as like HR versus marketing or sales?
No, okay. I will relate your question to the gentleman's question. Now, this is also the reason why you should use OKRs. Now, the question is, before understanding how we can fit uh, as per the different department needs, how can those OKRs be created? We should first understand the need of the different departments.
Okay.
what we want to solve, what that department wants to achieve, what the department head want to achieve. For example, let us, it's a HR community we are talking to, we are addressing to today. So let us take an HR example, okay? Now, suppose you are growing, okay? You got a good business contract of five years, 3 years, right, from offshore, and you are really growing, but you are also battling with the attrition rate. One, you are battling with the knowledge, right? You want to upskill the people. Now, these are the two main areas the HR is struggling right now. HR does not have a problem of hiring. HR has ample and a very strong process, and they are hiring left and right, right? Why? Because the attrition is very high. So you're not able to solve attrition, but what did you solve for? You solved for, okay, let us hire more. Let us keep on hiring because we cannot stop. But
Right.
and then there's a third problem that arises, right? If you are hiring too frequently, definitely attrition is there. The second problem is the upscaling or knowledge transfer also. Now, these are the problems that you want to solve. So that is a need of an HR department. Now, go ahead and create the OKRs and create a time-bound OKRs for them. You should not create an yearly OKR. Yes, if needed, you create an yearly OKR also. Doesn't, but let us understand, let us divide it into those 90 days, quick 90 days. Okay, let us see what we can achieve in 3 months. Okay, let us see and benchmark it. Suppose your attrition rate is 28%. Directly do not jump to, okay, let us do it 5% or 10%. No, do not do that. Okay, let us come from 28% to first maybe 20% in first quarter. There's a plan, okay? Similar is the upskilling, right? See in what areas business needs that upskilling, where people are lacking. Maybe we are hiring so fast, we are hiring people with low skill levels. Maybe we are hiring salespeople because we need a foot on the ground. Maybe we are hiring engineers who have not that kind of level of experience. So we have to take them through some learning programs, do some certification, something or other, have that number, measure it on quarterly basis. You will see that, okay, maybe in first quarter, we said that, okay, we will have to come from 28 to 20%, but we could not, we did not achieve 20%, we achieved 22%. Okay, that's fine. Another quarter, 22% to another 15%. You will see then how objectively, now these will be the goals at a high level, maybe at a HR head level. And then as you move down, people will make these an objective of their own team members, and they will keep on start solving it. So you know what you gave them. You gave them purpose, which I'm going to explain my for the slides. That's one of the biggest advantage. You give the purpose to the people. That purpose is not the yearly goal. That will be measured after a year. That is a real problem that you are solving right now. Hope I have answered that, Jagrati,
Great,
because I can
great.
talk
Yeah.
on and on the topic.
Yeah, Ravi, definitely have answered my question. Yes.
Thank you. Okay, so let's see that in terms of tool, what you can do. As I said, that clarity, right? And the example that I gave just to Jagrati is of how you can create an OKR. The HR head can create an OKR of reducing that attrition and scaling. Now, those things you can configure it in the system. That objective can be configured at a HR head level, and that why and how the people will get the clarity, how Jagrati's team will get the clarity, is because they all can see the objectives of Jagrati, and if Jagrati aligns her objective with them, so they also get the OKRs of theirs. Okay. So it is all, so they are super clear on what actually is needed at a department head level, what we have to do, how we are solving for it, how we are contributing. You remember one of the questions, I'll just spend 1 minute on it. In the yearly review, I'm sure that you must be asking the questions with your with the employees that how you'll be contributing in the coming year. And it is written somewhere documented. And that is just documented. But here it is executed. Every quarter you have to create your OKRs. The OKRs which are similar, okay, they can be copied, they can be moved in the next quarter. But again, you can calibrate them based on your current achievement of this quarter. So highly executional, you see. Right? So clarity is one aspect. Alignment. Now, I hope you guys can see my screen, and there are two alignments which we are showing. How, if towards the left, if you can see the bottom picture shows that, okay, there's a one objective. Just imagine this is a HR head's objective, one objective. How this one objective is aligned to next level, then how that those objectives are aligned to other level, then finally to last mile. So full alignment with the progress also is written. The top image that you see, the small stars or circles, that we call constellation. Now the constellation shows HR the whole overall picture of the organization level goals. Now HR often struggles with the goal, with the view of that goals that people have to create. Definitely, yes, Excel can give us that visibility. You can create those snapshots in the Excel. We can get that, right? But this is real time. This is also connected, aligned. So you get to see as an HRI, and please remember that we believe that HR are enablers. They just need the right data, right information at the right time. This is the right information at the right time. What is the time? Year has started. In the first month, you need to see the goals, how people have aligned their goals. Annual operating plan is created, how people have created their goals. You have to see that. Or otherwise, if people are not creating, system is going to nudge them. Please create your goals, please create your OKRs. You don't have to rush to them. And since it is transparent, everyone knows now that my reporting manager, and if they're the dual metrics, my other reporting manager also knows, if their reporting manager knows that Ravi has not created the OKRs, right? So that's the power of alignment. Feedback, it's open feedback mechanism, okay? Open feedback mechanism means that anyone can request feedback and anyone can give feedback to anyone. Not just to my own department, not just to my reportees, but to anyone, right? Because again, during the session, I said one sentence that we tend to collaborate, right? But we are not actually collaborating. If we are collaborating, then why can't I give feedback to my cross-functional team member? If I am from sales, why can't I give feedback if my marketing person has done a great job? So this supports that, right? System gives you opportunity to create your own batches. Be as creative as you can. Based on your values, you can. And let me share with you, one of our client has created a badge of lazy loaders. Nudging little positively, but a negative one, and no one wants that. And trust me, when any manager gives any team member that lazy loader badge, immediately the whole system gets updated. Tuck, 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 tuck. Right. And but again, you need to understand that these feedback are not the part of your yearly appraisal. What it is a part of your execution. How you can maximize that performance. You have to understand that. We are not, I'm not discussing at once about that yearly appraisal during the session. It is all about how we can do it now, right now. Yes. So that's the feedback. Now, execution means a lot of things. We need to have those communication, right? We need to have those strategic projects. We need to have those tasks or actions, okay? Because if we are not communicating on single platform, if we are not having those detail of those projects under one roof, or those, I'm not talking about project management. I'm talking about strategic projects. Maybe HR wants to have a project, and so HR can create a project. They can include different cross-functional team members onto it. We need to reduce the admin cost. Maybe right now HR wants to, before creating OKRs, HR wants to just create, or HR wants to do a certain kind of a benchmarking. So they can create a project around it. Involve the team members, give them the task, and see it on one screen that how people are faring on that. Okay. Now, execution also needs check-ins. Check-ins means those reviews that we do. Now, normally what happens that when we get into a review as an Jagrati, you must be also having those weekly reviews with the team members or maybe fortnightly reviews. What we do normally, we enter into the room, we sit down with an agenda, we discuss something, we assign some actions, we take the MOMs and we leave. Now, the problem with this good story is it does not happen the way I'm talking. We have set up the meeting for 1 hour, maybe we were not able to cover the full agenda.
Correct.
Okay. It does not mean that the agenda was wrong. It simply meant that we were not objective. And when we go out of the room, all the MOMs and the actions whoosh, go away. So start tracking them, binding them with the OKRs under one project. Okay, OKRs give you that kind of an objectivity, because then as a manager, as a reporting manager, you will only talk about the areas which are not actually achieved, where there are reds. If there are things in the greens, that means they're on track. You don't have to bother about it. If there are things in amber or yellow, okay, that's fine. If there are things in red, definitely talk about those first. When you do those things, because OKR also teaches you how to focus. That is, you will only be able to do when you are thinking very objectively. And you're practicing that day over day, right? Meeting over meeting, then only you will be able to achieve. And you will see that, yes, you are converting those 2 hours meeting maybe in 1 hour. But yes, if you have an agenda of 2 hours, you will be doing those 2 hours meeting still. Okay. Okay. Now, okay, a very interesting slide. And now, I think so every HR person will relate this with me, that you can divide the whole organization in these 4 buckets: top management, HR, team leaders, managers, and executives. And why I have kept HR? Because I have a high regard for HR, and I see HR as a great enablers. And HRs are always seen as a different department in the organization. Always. No organization can survive without HR. Whether, however small, if there are 4 people, 10 people startup also, still they need some HRs. Maybe they will hire one, or maybe they will have some acting here HR, part-time HR, but they will have. So the HR department is a must-have department. And in the bigger organizations, in the mid-sized organizations, there are HR heads, there are CHROs. Now, with that, with the OKRs or a cafe model, what do top management gets? The visibility of business progress. Business progress does not only come with the numbers. Business progress visibility comes with how I'm thinking, the strategy, how I'm converting that strategy into objectives, and how those objectives are being achieved. That is the visibility any leader wants. What happens today is, first of all, those numbers are taken, those numbers are then put in some analytic programs. Then from that analytic programs, we get certain kind of reports, and we relate those reports to our strategy. But on job, you can see that right on one screen, that how your objectives are giving you that view of business progress, and it gives you a 2x increase through clear company, team, and individual goals, and through alignment. HR, they can see up to 32 or up to 30% better retention rate. That means out of 10, how earlier, what was happening? Only 3 were. Now, you are saying that at least 7 to 8 people are staying. You will achieve that. How you will achieve that? If you have a real-time visibility of high performers and low performers, you can reach out to those low performers, work out with them. You do not have to wait for the business heads to tell you that Ravi is not able to perform consistently for 1 quarter. You will see that, okay, concise report, that, okay, who are the high performers and who are struggling. You can see that in form of goals. People belongingness. Now, a lot of HR people struggle with their engagements. We create a lot of engagement programs, right? But just imagine for once, if people have that clarity of how that company is moving, how different departments, how my department is moving, how what they want, how we are able to achieve that. And isn't it that they will feel more belonged? Yes, I belong to this company. I belong, whatever small I'm doing, it is impacting somewhere, and you can see that impact. It increases the belonging that's like anything, at least by 2x, as I feel, and so much powerful than anything else. Just imagine if you give them the real-time feedback also. Now, the managers are sandwiched between the top management and their team members. How do they focus on what their teams are lacking on? How they set that clear priority. System gives you, OKR gives you a clear view of, you are aligned, that what is the expectations of the top management, of your reporting manager, and what is and where the team is lacking. You can sense the risk and opportunity early. It gives you a chance to achieve that 2x performance with your team. And that is very, very realistic. For executives and workforce, it gives you a 35% better accountability and responsibility. How? Because if working at a last mile, if I am driven by the sense of purpose, that's very strong. Today, a lot of people who are working at the last mile, they just don't care. They are here to do a 9 to 5 job and get the salary and go home. No one is bothered about them. But if through the system, they get that purpose, they know, okay, their small work, right? Those interns also who are coming to work for you, they know where they're impacting. Now just understand, like, again, isn't it that wonderful that how they get the sense of purpose? How they see now their voice is heard. They get a clear engagement in the direction of their contribution towards company's progress. Such a powerful thing. So all these different, 4 different buckets, top management, HR, team leads and managers, executive and workforce, they tend to get these values in real time, right? Not after a year. But again, it's a process. You must believe in the process. Okay. It comes with the time. It is not just in the one click. we have to set it up. That's, I believe, the end of it, right? Any questions, Jagrati? I can answer.
Yeah, we do have 3 questions under the Q&A box.
Okay.
Okay, so we'll go one by one. So
Sure.
first question is, how do we handle situation where OKR are not met?
Okay. See, again, those cadence, those frequent check-ins really matters. And if we are uh, doing those check-ins, we would be able to talk about it. We will be able to solve about it. And OKRs again are very agile. If suppose if Ravi is not able to meet his target, then maybe Ravi, my reporting manager, can introduce me to someone else who can help me in solving my problem. Maybe I'm stuck somewhere. Maybe I'm stuck with maybe with some contractuals. Okay. Maybe I want some introductions. Right. So the point is, if we do those check-ins, frequent check-ins, and we do it as per the OKRs, that is more important. Then we
Correct.
talk about them and we resolve that then and there.
Great. Okay. We'll move to the second question. How can we ensure that OKR are just not a performance metric, but also a tool for a learning and growth?
Yeah, very interesting question. Oh, very nice. Okay, very interesting question. So, during my whole session, okay, not once you must have noticed that I've talked about uh, keeping or making OKRs as a performance system. I've kept mentioning again, OKR is utilized for driving that execution, achieving that performance, executional performance, right? Performance excellence. You can utilize the metrics or the scoring of it for your yearly appraisal. You can take certain part of it, but you should never ever utilize it just for the performance management. No, it is not for the performance management. Right?
Great.
Okay.
Great. Yeah. So third question is, it is advisable to use OKR as a PMS?
No, I answered that right. It is not advisable to just utilize for PMs, not just for PMs. You can take certain part of it, right? Certain scorings of it and utilize. Maybe like you say, I will consider 40% of the OKR scoring for my yearly appraisal. Because that is the work that people are doing, real work. Yes, you can. But not single point agenda should not be the performance management. Okay. Or the yearly appraisal.
Okay.
That's an interesting question. It came from Meera Joshi. How one can apply OKRs.
The last question is how one can apply OKRs with IT-based solution company, and OKR is only for quarterly basis.
Okay. So again, see, whether it's any industry, whether it's a manufacturing industry, whether it's a service company, whether it's a IT solution company, whatever kind of a company it is, you just have to understand what is needed at every level, and that should be very clear. Utilizing those, you can create your OKRs. The different teams can create OKRs. Because whether it's an IT company or any, you need growth, you need to solve for your culture. Okay. And yes, if you can connect to us, Meera, we can guide you that how you can actually utilize. And again, while I was answering Jagrati a few minutes back, I told her that you must identify the need of different departments.
Correct.
So, and identifying the need at a company level, identifying the need at a vertical head level or the department head or the functional head level, and accordingly you can create OKRs. And yes, OKRs can be quarterly, advisable quarterly, because that gives you an ample window to actually act and take course corrective measures. But yes, if you are a very aggressive company, there are companies in the world who are now doing 2 month cycle also, 1 month cycle also, and there are a lot of companies who are doing 6 month cycle also. It all depends on what is the culture of your organization. But advisable is looking at how our businesses are set up in India. Okay, they are advisable as on a quarterly basis.
Yeah.
I hope there are no more questions.
I think one question has come up.
Mhm.
So that should be coming to this out. Okay, I'll read it out to you. That should be communicated to all employees at the outset during the introduction phase. In many large corporates, there is a distrust of the HR function. In the in the regard, is not better to have OKR champions from the business.
Yes, yes, yes. Thank you, anonymous attendee. Okay. Okay, and yes, see, the point, as I said, that I believe that OKRs are great enablers. Okay. And why there is a distrust, let us not get into that. But one of the reason I feel is the miscommunication or not getting the data in the real time when it is needed actually. That is one of the reasons. Then HR is an HR. HR job is not actually driving business. Business drives is driven by the business managers. Okay. So we can have champions in the businesses also. We can have champions from different segments so that every voice is heard. It does not matter that only HR has to be an OKR champion. No, it can be from the business also. I hope I've answered his
Great.
question, but a
Yeah,
very interesting
yeah.
question, very realistic question.
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay, I
Okay.
think so. It's
So
time to end our session.
yeah, exactly. So I think there is no more question in the chat box as well. So
Yeah.
we can end the session, and thank you so much, Ravi, for this wonderful session. It is actually very much informative. And also would like to thank you all of our participants for their time and participation. I hope
Thank you.
participants has also gained a lot of knowledge out of it.
I hope so.
Yeah.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Thank you for
Thank you.
joining. Looking forward. Thank you, Jagrati.
Thank you so much, sir.
Bye-bye. Thank you,
Yeah.
team. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.